Welcome back to 7CR, week of February 27th. We're a little late recording, but there's been a lot of news this week. On the heels of the news that Bungie's expanding and people getting moved around, we got a amazing director's cut from Joe Roth. Like, I read this thing and I heard like the angel chorus just, oh. I hear people's guns being excited that they still have life. This is fantastic.
Armor. Don't forget the armor.
And the armor. And builds are actually given a chance to live. It's great. It's a good time. But we did experience something new this week. Ghost lobbies. How familiar are y'all with them?
It was something I was vaguely aware of, because they did do something vaguely about it back in like 2018. But it was more, yeah. So it was funny that like we actually started talking about this because I read a thread on it today in Reddit.
Where you live,
pretty much. But yeah, so like they were at the time they were people were using them to get like pinnacle rewards, from Crucible and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm fairly familiar, like I'm aware of it. I don't think a lot of people realize how big of an issue it actually is.
I know Chance knows about it because we experienced it from this guy firsthand. To put it simply,
we did.
Ghost lobbies are where people log into Destiny, play a match of comp, or in this case, trials. And what they do, they manipulate the network so that they connect to the map to play, but the opposing team cannot connect. I don't know whether it actually gives them a loss on the card because it's not technically they're not even getting into the map stage. They're just not able to connect. And because of that, the other team gets the win. I feel like it's in the same vein as DDoSing because one, you're getting your reward without actually having to play the match, and two, you're manipulating the network. It may not be as malicious as DDoSing, but you're still manipulating the network for a reward that you didn't get. What do you think about it, Fates?
I would say it's kind of similar vein as DDoS. It's definitely cheating.
I mean, yeah, that's obvious.
You could definitely tell that there's been a difference. You could even see it from Destiny Trials report.
That's how we caught this dude.
This week, over 90,000 or 94,000 people went flawless last weekend. It's a 62% rise from the previous weekend. 62%. I wonder how that happened. Are you telling me most of the Destiny population decided we're PvP gods now? We're all going flawless.
It was the hand cannon. The hand cannon being at flawless. The amount of adept igneous hammers I have seen has been stupid. And it's like the guys using it, you can tell that they are not. I'm going to sound like a PvP snob when I say this, but they aren't flawless material. Like, you can tell that these guys, the way they move, the way they play, the way they aim, it's not there.
They missed their damn shots.
Exactly, and that's how Chance was the one that played this guy, and he saw it, and the guy was just like,
he literally couldn't win a gunfight to save his life. He had to use the Stasis Hunter's entire kit to freeze and kill me, and even then, it wasn't even consistent. He still lost the game.
And again, this is of the three of us, Chance is honestly the better KD. He is gilded unbroken twice now. No, well, once. He's. I'm sure by the 1 week into next season, he will be gilded twice.
I'll go for it.
Dude knows his stuff. So when he's calling somebody out saying that they are using everything at him, he is not exaggerating.
So it's so it's not just normal. Like, so let's just put this in kind of perspective. It's doing this for people is a lot easier than, or I shouldn't say even easier, but it's a lot safer than easier and safer than doing like a recov. But there are recov services using it, so like it's a very deep problem that I just don't think people realize that it's something that's, some people may not even know it's happening to them. So
when you're trying to connect and you're stuck at 3 things forever until you finally just get fed up with waiting and back out and reconnect, that could easily be what's happening.
It's and I get people are like, well, nobody's getting hurt, but in a way I would disagree. The first impact you're going to have is on the player pool in Pinnacle PvP. So these people, I would say that's probably, we're all in agreement, in not only just us, but most people are in agreement with, when it comes to trials and fixing trials, the first thing that's going to make it a better experience for everyone is a larger player pop.
Yep.
That's not taking into account any kind of other changes, each individual person wants to see happen with trials. But things like this hurt the player pop. So like people doing this is going to affect people who aren't necessarily guys, going flawless 30 sometimes over the weekend. It's going to affect your
players to play against, and
it's going to affect your casual players who aren't going to want to just kind of set foot in again. I mean, that kind of goes with any kind of cheating. And then I would say the other issue is general health and integrity of the game.
Yep.
So
definitely. It's going to be interesting. I don't know whether DDoS protections that they're going to be putting in are actually going to be helping with this. Maybe if it does it, it'll be in a way that makes network manipulation more difficult to do.
People have said that inadvertently them adding in the DDoS protection will fix this issue.
Good.
I don't know if
Hear
that's...
that? Your bell has rung, people.
I don't know if that's necessarily true, but
here's
the discussions. Yeah, the discussions I've seen have basically said that it's essentially almost like a fix by accident for it.
Yeah, it'll definitely help. But moving on with community stuff, we got our community clip of the week. We got clips submitted by y'all this week. We got one from Gearshifter09, our resident Voidlock.
That's me.
Why'd you have to do that to him? Like, why'd you have to do that to that poor man?
He looked at me funny.
He looked at me funny. All right, roll it.
They lost. Your enemy is pushing for victory. Punish them for it. Only 1 minute left. Your enemy can't kill if they're dead. 2 for 1. 3 opponents down. Ikora would be proud of you, Warlock. You have zone advance. You've got 30 seconds.
There y'all have it, folks. Clip of the week submitted by Gearshifter09. If y'all want to have y'all's clips submitted, submit them in our Discord. We have a nice little Google form for you to submit them at. The link to join the Discord is down below here on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, I'm sorry, you can't get it there, but you catch it on YouTube. Same with Anchor. We apologize. We're trying to figure out.
No, it's on Anchor.
We got it there. Thank you. Look at the co-host. See, we're on it. We're just kind of on it in different areas. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with that heavenly document on Bungie from Jogoroth. Dude is we have a term for what he's doing. Fates, do you want to share it with everybody?
Yeah, so I saw it. I was at work when it came out, and you guys saw it go up before I did. It called it straight up the unfucking of Luke Smith. Literally, the how long has this game been out? What, 4 years now, almost?
Yep.
And I'm just specifically talking to you too. Everything he has put us through is almost
reversed.
He got Thanos snapped. He got Thanos snapped. Like, people will be like, "Oh, Luke Smith used to be in charge of this game. What?"
Literally, sunsetting's gone. So let's take a minute to talk about that one. Obviously, an amazing thing. I was on the when it first was announced, there was clear for it, against it, and I was leaning on the for side. I was like, it could be good for the game depending on how they do it. And with the reissuing of stuff, the way they did it was horrible. And the first time I had to get it, I mean, I didn't want a Gnawing Hunger, but the first time I see a Gnawing Hunger come back after I had a God roll, problem. When I have a Waking Vigil sitting in my bank and I can't get it, and I'm having to try for another one, there I have. That's when I was like, really full on. This was the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, you know what made that Gnawing Hunger even worse for you? The fact that like we spent, what was that, a week? That week that it was in Reckoning, grinding for them. Do you remember? I remember that. It was like right before they announced.
We went on PC and did it.
Yeah, I remember them announcing sunsetting, and like we were like, oh, well, there that goes.
Yeah,
I was.
I mean, for the guys that people that had a spare rations felt what I felt with the Waking Vigil before I did, because the spare rations go. No, it wasn't spare rations. What was the gun that everybody wanted and they reissued it right back? I know Waking Vigil was one that's this season. Like it's been gone for a while and now it's back with the God roll.
That came back during Arrivals.
Yeah, there was something. The Achilles SMG, maybe? No. There was something that, like, right at when this, like, the very first bunch of things that got sunset, it came right back and they had to farm it again. I know Gnawing Hunger was one, and that might be what I'm thinking of. I want to say there was something else.
It was during Arrivals that it came back.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Yeah.
I can't think of any hand cannons. I mean, unless you're thinking of Dire Promise.
It might have been Dire. People with the Dire were upset that like, literally it's back and you have to do it again.
Dire came back with Worthy.
Yeah.
Either way, the thing was, it was just like we literally just had it gone and now it's back and I have to farm it again.
I think the thing that bothered me was stealing my beloved away and then just being like, "Oh yeah, here's a Dort. It's like a beloved." I'm like, no, that's.
It's like beloved got a tattoo.
I'm like, it's like, Mom, can we get beloved? No, we have beloved at home, and the beloved we have at home is Adored. Like, it's just, I'm just disappointed. Like, not that Adored's a bad gun. I'm not
My
saying
day is
it is.
ruined.
I'm sure some people, yeah, I'm sure there are people who are like, Adored's still a super solid gun. I'm not saying it's not.
But the thing is, the time investment that people put into Menagerie to get things.
I had such, I like, so like, not even just that. We went through a whole community event for the extra rolls. Legitimately, I know that it was glitched for a while, but like to get the legitimate like extra rolls, like we went through that whole stupid community event on Mars, and then they were just like, "Oh yeah, by the way, the guns that you all worked so hard to get together, gone." Yeah. But anyway, we're kind of digressing. So no more sunsetting. I think guns not getting sunset, super important, I would say. Even more important, armor. 100%, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Because like, about to say Chance has been quiet. Let's hear Chance's thoughts.
So I'm not gonna praise Bungie as a whole for unfucking a really bad idea. And a really even worse implementation. I've already stated in the past I've never been a fan of putting weapons out on like a timer, because they did do this in like Destiny 1, right? Like your OG weapons you couldn't use The following year, even though they gave a reason to use it in like House of Wolves or whatever, they give it like etheric light so that we can bring it up to power, and they took it all away from us.
That was especially dirty because like they didn't
Yeah.
announce it until like they were hyping Taken King.
Yeah, literally. We didn't even get a timer on it. Like they didn't say, "Hey, you can use these things for a year." Like this is what sunsetting is. It just kind of happened to us. Yeah, my biggest thing with it though, like I can almost understand weapons, right? Like being sunset or whatever, because things like Revoker, Mountaintop, those fundamentally broke the game. Revoker more than Mountaintop, in my opinion. But sunsetting armor and having to change your build up every few months in some cases, that was not the play. I don't understand what they were thinking there at all. Personally, that just kind of drove a lot of people off.
Not only just that, but like it wasn't like we got a whole bunch of new armor sets, or they were like, "Oh yeah, we understand." Oh, thank God, I still have those arms. Okay, I had arms that would have been gone at the end of this season.
Yeah,
And you thought you might have dismantled them?
That I dismantled. I was just like, let me check
Fully
dim real quick.
Fully Masterwork helmet got ripped the day before, so I understand.
I fully Masterwork gauntlets, and I was just like, ooh. Oh no, I got rid of the helmet, I think. Oh no.
But
pain.
One thing, we experienced it, or if you played Trials this past week and you saw it, the shotgun was up for grabs. They changed the role on it for this season. So you will no longer be able to get quick draw opening shot on the shotgun. Quick draw is no longer in the loot pool for it. Which basically turns in the role that I have one of the best roles you can get for it now. So, yay? Question mark for me.
It's kind of weird that that's gonna be a gun that exists in two forms until
exactly. I thought for sure that they were just going to wait for the sun. Like, that's why they did it. Because, with the quick draw Astral will get phased out. Because apparently that's a bit... Somebody on Twitter was literally trying to compare Fellwinter's to add to an Astral. No.
I have the quick draw opening shot Astral. I just don't have the range masterwork.
You still hit the cap if you got anything to boost the range on it.
Well, yeah. But I mean, like, I have 2,000 kills on my Fellwinters. They're not the same. They're not the same.
Oh, yeah. Which leads to the next question. They did say that they're going to be touching on it. What do you think they're going to do to it?
I wouldn't be surprised if they just ripped shot package off the frame.
Do you think shot package is the problem?
I think shot package is the problem, right? Like, shot package is 100% what makes Fellwinters. Like, yeah, opening shot's good. Yeah, like the tighter spread with full choke's nice. But it's shot package that puts it above everything else. At least that's how I feel.
About to say, Chance, that's your shotgun. So what do you think?
Well, I agree. Oh man, first let me correct that. This is not my shotgun. This thing is. I got such a love-hate relationship with this damn thing.
Really?
Honestly, I
like it feels, and I know this is gonna sound weird because from range it is definitely one of the more consistent weapons, but it feels inconsistent to like get certain kills at certain ranges with this shotgun, and I think that's totally because of shot package and the way the grouping works on that.
I swear to God, I sniped somebody with it yesterday at not even yesterday, the day before during Iron Banner. I swear to God, I like absolutely smashed this guy at like almost 10 meters. It was far. He either had to be damaged already by like a tiny little bit, but it killed him. I was like, "There's what?"
Yeah, it'll do that definitely. But like, I feel like I'll map somebody one time, and then from the same range, I won't map the other guy. Or like
I feel like every time I've seen you use a shotgun, you've used Fellwinters. That's why I said that.
It's just so consistent compared to everything else.
Definitely, Fellwinters is the thing I go to, but I used to just rock Python personally.
Honestly, they just need to tie stability into pellet spread. Like,
that would be nice.
Just
I
make
don't know
stability.
how they would though.
Just treat it almost like
higher the stability, but tighter the pellet spread.
Well,
like
how would they code it in though? That's my question.
I don't know. That would be rough. But even then, so like, I still think the shotgun changes that they put in, Shadow Keep, I think is when they did that. Did they have to be so heavy-handed? Because like, I remember running other like, I know Mindbenders at that point was like, even until Fellwinters came out, Mindbenders was like king. And honestly, I preferred using Mindbenders over Fellwinters because it just felt really nice.
The aggressive frames have always just been
not
more consistent.
even just that. Well, like, I remember leading up to that DLC, I loved using my Parcel of Stardust. Like, it was a lightweight frame shotgun, but it just felt really good. And after they changed it, it did not feel so good. It was just wildly inconsistent. I mean, like right now, I mean, like, even if we look at shotguns, so like before this season, and they gave everyone access to Fellwinters, which, by the way, like, I'm kind of surprised they're not. Now we have a whole year of Fellwinters. I hope they really kind of do something about it. But I know they've said they would, but I hope it's enough, but not to where it's completely useless. But like, even like, so every other shotgun but Fellwinters just doesn't feel consistent. And I know people are like,
"That's the biggest problem I have with them."
I'm fine with shotgun. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, shotguns need to be more risk reward," and I'm fine with that. Like, that should be the thing, but consistent risk reward. Like, I shouldn't be able to like have my barrel down this guy's throat and like not kill him because like a single pellet missed. Like, I don't know. And
I feel like they should take off. Well, it's like for aggressive frames like Fellwinters, right? Like, they've got quick draw, and that's part of like the draw towards them. Like, they can map people, and you can just whip them out and knock somebody out. I feel like what they're gonna do, especially with Fellwinters, is just rip quick draw from this thing and maybe dial in the range on Chop Package. I doubt it, to be honest. But definitely, I think quick draw will be the thing going away.
I could say I feel like that would be a solid
issue.
compromise. That it keeps what makes Fellwinters unique, but by removing quick draw, you're able to your trade off is you can't draw this thing as quick. But of course, if you've heard my rants on it, you rip off quick draw. That's fine. Throw on Ophidians. You throw on
plus,
Dragon Shadow.
some
Dragon Shadow.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but it makes it where you're having to change your loadout to help out that gun.
I mean, yeah, but is like, so that argument works if the gun isn't that damn good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Fellwinters is just like, you could sit and say, okay, well, like, if I don't have Fellwinters, I could use a 7th Seraph, or like I could use Retold Tale.
Yeah.
But are either of those guns going to potentially map somebody at 9 meters?
Supposedly Retold might, but 7th Seraph, I don't.
No, 7th Seraph's light.
So.
Wait.
Yeah, so it's almost like one of those guns that is worth changing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's worth defining a playstyle around because it's just that much better than everything else because of what Bungie did to shotguns.
It could be.
I think.
Who knows? Maybe the unfucking isn't over.
I mean, I hope so. I Joe, you bought some good faith with me. Let's see you carry through. That's honestly how I like. I'm happy to see the changes, but I'm like, still Bungie. Let's see what happens.
So second,
I've been abused so much.
Sunsetting's gone, which is great. We're a PvP podcast, so let's talk about the trial stuff. They might be implementing a matchmaking into trials. I'm fine with it. I played with some blueberries in Elim that we could have probably gone flawless. It was fantastic.
I think trials should be. I think honestly, like, the card matchmaking thing needs to go away. I remember when they did that in D1. So like, I don't. That was not a thing. I don't feel like it wasn't a thing originally when trials came out.
D1.
Yeah. So like, House of Wolves trials,
you had cards, and then you could just buy those extra things.
it was only a thing when they started to play with matchmaking and stuff. Again, like after Taken King. It wasn't with Taken King, but like after a couple months, they were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, you're gonna match by card now," and it became this giant like
Sweatfest.
Yeah, I
Well,
think they'd really missed the mark with.
So here's the thing: card-based matchmaking isn't going to necessarily be a bad thing if they do one thing.
Okay.
They need to give people a reason to play the entire card out. Because right
like
now,
dropping loot and shit, like in between
exactly,
matches.
the deeper you're in the card you are, regardless of wins or losses, the more likely you are to get an in-game reward. Because as of right now, let's say you're trying to go for a flawless run, you get to 3 wins fairly easily. You get your first loss, you lose your mercy. Well, if you're a team that's good and you got your 3 wins very easily, you're totally fine with resetting that thing and going back to the bottom of the card to keep your mercy, because you know you're going to need it at the end. Or vice versa, you're a team that's having a hard time getting past the 3 or 4 win, but you can win your first 2 matches easy, lose your mercy early on, reset. There's nothing to incentivize you getting on. The problem I see Bungie doing, because H, you're rubbing off on me, they're going to make it where each reset you're going to have to spin Glimmer to buy the card.
I mean, it was...
Because remember, Trials did that. You ended up having to spin Glimmer for the card.
Oh, I know. I used to farm that mission on Mars with the Cabal, like the beginning part, because I needed Glimmer for Trials.
I see that coming back.
I wouldn't mind it if it wasn't 25 per card. I think if you're going to do that, you need to drop the purchase price of the card down to like 5K per card or something. You know what I mean?
I think that's what it was originally. What's your thoughts on it, Chance?
Part of me is mixed because I feel like PvP players deserve that kind of high sweat game mode to flex over everybody else. But I also agree that as a game mode, it definitely needs more incentive because the player base right now is kind of next to nothing. I would keep, well, like what you said, right? The more deeper you're into a card, the more shit you get, etc. I would keep, obviously, the adept stuff at flawless, and all the flawless requirements at flawless. I would just keep like high as hell stat rolls for like armor and whatnot.
65 plus stat rolls.
Yeah, like literally, like just give the people who make it up there the flawless like a lot of loot, and that'll incentivize more people to play as well. And it'll keep the hardcore people happy.
Yeah, because what ends up happening right now, people are like, okay, I got my adept, I want to try and get another adept with a better roll, reset card, farm, confidence, get to flawless again and again and again, and they just reset. So they're cycling the pool, and they're constantly.
They specifically mentioned better defining separate skill tiers. So I'm willing to bet we see skill-based matchmaking instead of card-based, to be honest. And honestly, I feel like that's a better... honestly, I think I rather see Trials be connection-based, because I can't stand people like... I can't stand like shooting somebody and then having him like just teleport off to the side and just be like, nope, it's like you completely missed, feel bad about it.
I'd rather play somebody that's my skill level so I have a chance.
I would rather play completely random teams the entire card.
I also agree with the random teams, because at least with random teams, you don't have to worry about like people on our team or the other team having like varying different skill levels, because as you mentioned earlier, I've got like a higher KD than most other people.
So my problem with like skill-based matchmaking, even so, like let's look at it this way: you could be like, I don't know, people have mentioned it vaguely working off ELO for comp, but like Destiny doesn't have like an ELO system, at least not that we know of, right? At least not defined like we know of, I should say. But people like you could hit legend or even unbroken and be like a silver tier player, and like somebody else could be gold, and like you'd have to play golds all the way up, where like somebody else would have to play, silver tier. Does that mean you're both like, you know what I mean? Like, how is that almost? Like, it almost feels unfair to other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I'm all for. I've been saying it since like Trials came out. I just make it old Trials. Give us House of Wolves Trials. That's the Trials every single person liked. If you didn't like it, well, go away. I don't like you. I know. No, I like it. It was the thing that put them on the map. Why you don't need to reinvent the wheel. And I think the idea of making like the higher in the card you are, more rewards drop. I think that should be the case, but I also think it should be, because it's Bungie, I'm sure they'd be like, oh yeah, so 6 wins, things will drop more frequently, but it's your whole loot pool. I would much rather see it be like tied to the weekend, right? Like, so if I don't know, if the scouts, or like if the messenger's up and like you've already acquired it for the weekend, I think it should be in part of that loop. But like, you should be able to farm it as you go higher, instead of like just being like, oh yeah, that messenger you wanted, no, here's tomorrow's answer.
What if they did something like the recaster, and like, I don't know, the more you won, the more currency you got, and you can just focus that into like certain engrams.
I honestly hate the token system. I wish they'd throw it away.
That is fair. I hate the token system.
I just hate the token system. I hate it. I miss. I think this season, I know I'm getting a little off topic, but I know like I like the changes to like Shaxx this season, but I wish we'd go back to like and get like, so like when PvP games ended in D1, like the reward screen. I miss the reward screen with like the chance at exotics that popped up and like all that. I don't know.
Yeah, I miss seeing what people got in that. That was part of the fun of it.
It's interesting that they've kind of realized. I'm kind of glad that he's kind of said what most of the community's been thinking. Like, if this was Luke Smith, we wouldn't see this conversation until like next year.
Yeah.
Think about how long it took them to mention 3-peaking.
Yeah.
Which I'm
of
sure
course, going on with the PvP stuff, 3-peaking is getting sunset. That's going to be nice. You're not going to be able to have any emotes active during high-level PvP, so Trials, Comp, Banner. Was that in there?
I don't think it specifically mentioned modes.
I know Comp and Trials.
The only time that they mentioned Banner was they wanted to target a similar scope. Like, so they talked about the changes they wanted to Trials, and then they just said they were going to do the same thing, like the similar scope to Iron Banner, but they want to focus on. It says we want to target our efforts around global PvP balance in our most aspirational modes first. So competitive, and I'm assuming Trials will be the first two as far as PvP that gets touched.
They want to finish making Trials basically after it's been left out for a while.
Here's your salmonella, but we'll take it back and make you a new one.
Basically. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Not being able to emote, I'm sorry. I do that. But it's to like after I kill somebody, I want to brag about it.
We had that conversation. I mean, you got to break out the good old fashioned bag.
This is true. All glory be to the bag.
We'll just have to teach people. Different speeds mean different things. No, I'm happy. Like we had this conversation. I think actually in our Discord one day. I was like, well, just disable emotes, and it was like, well, people paid for those. I'm like, well, I don't care. I don't care if you don't need to emote during a match.
Nope.
I think you could sacrifice that for no more 3-peaking. Like, if you really hate 3-peaking and think it's like against the spirit of the game, because that's really what it is. It's not necessarily cheating because it is in game, but it's definitely like a competitive, like an integrity thing. I feel like,
Yeah. The sword too.
I think, yeah, I think that too. Like, I think 3-peaking in general is just against. I'm happy to see both. I was like, just disable. Honestly, I was like, yeah, just disable like things that put you in third person. I don't even care. Like, make everyone run around with LMGs and rockets. I don't care. Just get rid of 3-peaking. So I'm happy to see them.
Another easy thing would be to decrease match time so people aren't playing for super.
Down to like a minute, I think.
A minute, because I mean that's plenty of time to wreak havoc. No people playing for super. You're not going to have a chaos reach in 2 matches or 2 rounds.
It is interesting that they said they mentioned third-person weapons and not just swords. Just for the record.
I took that as relics, but like you can't bring relics.
But they're talking about that in terms of PvP stuff, so I don't see them unless they're going to throw a relic into PvP.
Oh, the only other thing I could think of, I was going to say the other thing I was going to say Scourge cannons potentially, but I mean, like maybe they're planning on other weapons and stuff.
Put a Scorch cannon in it for sudden death. Yes.
It's like a power weapon. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Or even the hive sword.
Big smash.
The thing to note, it's only going to affect trials and competitive, which I mean, most people, that's where it matters. So like, you're still going to be able to emote on people in, Iron Banner tier.
Yes.
Unless competitive defines Iron Banner, but I feel like they're just talking about the actual playlist. They're changing stasis. Across season
right when you
13
said they
and 14.
would.
So across season 13 and 14, they'll be adjusting stasis in the Crucible to bring its overall effects in line with our light subclasses. Here are some changes that you can expect. You can expect coming to updates this season and next. So Behemoth Titans on the chopping block next. Decrease super damage reduction, increase super energy costs when performing light attacks. Remove freeze AoE on supercast. That was a big annoying one that I really didn't like about. Like the amount of Behemoth kills that I just missed because the guy's just like, nope, freeze. Yeah, that was that annoyed me a bit. Reduce traveling efficiency, although they spelled efficiency wrong, of Shiver Strike when slowed. So, you hit them with a Shuriken Hunters, slow them down a little bit.
Yeah.
We are next on the chopping block as Hunters. Decrease Withering Blade damage and tracking. As a Hunter, they need it. Shurikens are just broken.
I've played Stasis Hunter in Trials. Yes.
I'm willing to bet. So I don't want to get off topic too much, but I'm willing to bet over the next couple seasons before Witch Queen, maybe even with Witch Queen, we end up seeing another Stasis exotic that buffs the tracking of Withering Blades, just because they're going to
nerf it that hard.
They're going to nerf it and then just introduce an exotic so we have like the tracking back. But that's just me being,
I think that'll be fine because at least it's a trade-off. At least they don't just have that.
Remove Shatter Dive damage reduction, so no more Shatter Diving to avoid taking damage, which honestly it needed. I'm fine with all the hunter changes because Revenant Hunters are kind of broken. Shadebinders are next, but it doesn't look. Oh well, you are getting a little bit. So fix bug where ice flare bolts wouldn't track towards targets immediately on creation. That is definitely something I've seen when I was trying to run Shadebinder and stuff. Fix bug where Shadebinder super projectiles were not tracking until a certain distance traveled. Also notice that. And then the general, I'm assuming this affects all 3, decrease crystal shatter damage, which it just honestly, it really doesn't affect warlocks. It's like your only shatter comes off super. Like you don't have a.
Yeah.
So
You're not special like the rest of us.
At least they until they add like aspects or whatever the hell. And
Yeah.
allow us to do that.
So with Titan, what I've gotten to doing is with the slide ice wall. I don't even know it's Howling Torment or something like that.
Yeah.
You slide, use your
yeah.
melee charge, and it puts an ice wall.
Mm-hmm.
What I've been doing with that is I put it on the point and then kind of hide behind it until they're close to me, and then I slide through it, and just boom! I've killed so many people because they're chasing me around that wall, and all of a sudden I slide, and then they just die to the stasis.
It's allowed me to switch my grenade to dust fields, and I feel absolutely broken using both. Like it just
dust
doesn't
fields
feel fair.
Just need to have the suck reduced.
Less suck, please.
Less suck, please.
But no, yeah, no. Like I just feel like having both is like I'm just like, wow, this is kind of nutty. But I'm happy to see they're at least come out and said what they're gonna do with behemoths, because they were just like, we're gonna look at them. I'm like, but we all know what's wrong with them. Like, just look at Reddit. Look at Twitter. Watch our podcast. Like,
Reddit's always a toss-up. I feel like sometimes Reddit has some good takes. Sometimes
I'm not necessarily. So when I'm saying Reddit, I don't specifically just mean Destiny the game. If you're getting your PvP takes from that, probably should not do that.
The Crucible playbook was pretty bad at times too.
It can be. It depends on when you go. Like Reddit's. It depends on when you go during the day. I've noticed that about Reddit. But like, for example, Destiny the game was like, because they introduced the Iron Banner, freelance playlist last season, and everyone's like, this is the greatest thing ever. Oh my god, I love it. And I was like, I've had a better experience actually playing regular Iron. Like, am I the only person who had a better experience last season playing regular Iron Banner compared to freelance? And then this season, I keep seeing posts that are like, freelance is super sweaty. What the hell? like told you. So I wouldn't listen to them at all. They're like. They changed their opinion as much as Luke Smith does. There you can find good suggestions and stuff for the game there, but when it comes to PvP, like you're getting a majority of PvE players giving their opinion, so it's like, not that their opinion doesn't matter, but yeah, we did call it. Season 15 is when they're looking at universal adjustments to stasis by increased damage reduction when frozen to provide more survivability for the victim. Following stasis tuning in Season 15, we will also focus on light subclasses and release a set of targeted buffs to our most underutilized specifications. Give me armor as a gunslinger. That's all I want. That's it. Armor, gunslinger, let me roam around the map. It's been my longest.
What does Warlocks need, Chance?
In general or regarding stasis?
What's their weakest subclass and what does it need?
Not to get nerfed every time Bungie does something.
That would be fucking nice, right? Like, not get nerfed immediately and have you two fucking hunters and titans fucking overpowered for a year.
They're just like,
that would be lovely.
Nobody loves me.
We could do something about OEM, but you know what? Those warlocks are looking kind of sus. Let's nerf them to the ground.
Right? Like, let's just take away their melee ability. Let's just nerf them to the ground. Oh, hey, Titans have 1 million fucking health points. That's fine.
We've noticed that warlocks use guns. We're nerfing their ability to actually hold them.
We're breaking their hands.
We've removed their arms.
You guys are speaking some bullshit into existence. They'll actually do it. You know this.
Warlocks were healing too much from their well. We've decided that when they stand in it, it actually damages them over time.
Oh my lord!
So
Oh
I
my
have
god.
I'm gonna make a prediction which one you're gonna go with.
I'll give
You're
a
gonna say
serious
bottom
hunter
tree
answer after he's
Sunbreaker
done.
or bottom tree Dawnblade.
What, that needs help in, let's
Yes,
say,
that's the
PvP?
weakest subclass on
Uh,
Warlock.
I mean, it's ass for sure. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's good about it is the super, and even then, that's not that great. I feel like the moment they took away like Dawnblade's speed, Dawnblade just became meh. Like if you're not running top tree in PvP, then it doesn't even like I'm laughing at you. You're not doing anything to me. I think Stormcaller kind of needs help personally. I feel like its kits are like, when was the last time you saw a Stormcaller that wasn't Chaos Reach, for example? Right? Like, I feel like its kits are just kind of falling behind.
Arc Web.
Used to see, I forget which one. Like when we'd get higher up in comp, like we'd be around like Mythic 3 and stuff like that, we'd see a couple of them floating around, but I forget which tree it was. There are people who like I think it's the one with Ionic Blink or whatever it's called.
Yeah, no, it would always be that one. They're not going to run the Landfall one.
Yeah, I haven't used that one in forever. I
The reason you
I
use the
used
Landfall one is honestly for the Arc Souls, and you're not going to love that in PvP.
I would love to see Shattered come back.
Yes,
God,
please. Shatter
somebody who
Lance.
loves it, like if somebody who like loves his Warlock more than he likes his Titan. My Titan's like my redheaded stepchild.
That would be lovely.
I miss Shattered. And just give me the ram back. It's increased, armor, headshots, so I can just eat bullets.
To an extent, I kind of want Sunfinger back as well. Just maybe not the.
That would be so cool.
Rebirth
I mean,
thing.
like I honestly don't. I mean, like I know, like a lot of these things would have to like be tweaked to meet D2 standards, like they're doing with Vault.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of the old supers just, I don't know, they felt better.
Like Blade Dancer. I don't know why it's not in the game personally.
I miss Backstab.
I hate you.
And Bungie trying to
Backstab.
and Bungie trying to fix Backstab for literally like the entire life cycle of D1 and not getting it right. Because I was still backstabbing people. They're like, we fixed Backstab so you can no longer do it from the front of people. I'm like, yeah, watch this. It still worked.
Fates to like
All
took
the
one
time.
step to the side and he would still pull it off.
It still worked. Like the amount of people that were like, what'd you do to me? I like, Backstab. They didn't fix it. I'm sorry.
Now Liar's Handshake will pull the same stuff off.
Yeah. If I had to give an example,
Titan, if they're gonna go with the most underused thing,
I mean, the most
Sunbreaker. Probably Fist of Havoc as well, but Sunbreaker, I haven't seen a dude Sunbreaker in a long while.
I feel
now
like
see, I would agree with that, but Sunspots are making a comeback because they are just.
I've seen a lot more
melters.
hammers. Yeah, I've seen a lot more hammers this season.
But you got to be specific. Which one? Is it
I don't
the one
know.
with the shoulder charge? Do they use the shoulder charge, or do you see like a little pool of fire after a solar kill?
I honestly don't know. I haven't. I
True.
can tell you.
I'm not like thinking when I'm fighting a Sunbreaker. I'm seeing one or whatever. I'm like, I still got PTSD from taking.
I just see. I just see hammers flying at my face.
If they hit you and die and leave a pool of fire on the ground, it's bottom tree, and that's what I'm seeing make a comeback because sunspots. If you stand in a sunspot and you have a 120, you will 2-tap people. And as long as you're staying in that sunspot, you have 20 seconds that it's going to be alive. If you run the Phoenix Cradle boots, you get to carry that buff with you for 10 seconds. And in PvP, every kill that you have while it's on will create another sunspot for you to keep chaining it. And so it's a really good, really, really strong thing with the 120s right now. It'll also let you one-shot the body with an aggressive sniper. So, watch out!
I could see them doing about Sentinel. I mean, I feel like I don't see a lot of Sentinel in PvP.
I agree. And if they do,
I've always liked the idea of the shield personally, but maybe just being a Captain America fan, I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing Sentinel get buffed. Even if they did it and it was solid, I might use it on my Titan. I've been using Code of the Missile to be honest.
Yeah, I
You
was
know
gonna say,
the
I don't see-
way.
so
I like
see
an-
Codes of the
I-
Missile now.
I like Inertia Override so much, and I love. I've been abusing Dune Marchers. I literally pulled off one of the melee slam and killed like 3 people in Iron Banner earlier this week. It was great. I was like, this is the way.
You learned good. And here I am with all my. I've been on Gunslinger last night.
Realistically,
just
like
wrecking people with a throwing knife.
I feel like if we're talking like even Hunter, so like honestly, I feel like for us too, it's double void, right? Like I feel like I don't see like I see bows, I see a couple bows here and there, but it's almost always middle tree.
Yeah, I feel like
for,
bow
like,
would
the
be the hunter
specs.
weakness. But
I would
They
say
need
bows.
to buff that, yeah. Like I feel like the projectile speed on the bow needs to go up a bit.
Because
I've
throwing
seen
knife
a
is
bit.
solid.
I've seen
top
a
tree
little bit more.
Gunslinger's good.
I've seen a little bit more of the bow, but it's less because of the super and more because of the invis and trying to get the upper hand on stasis just entirely off using the invisibility to get the first shot off. Yeah, I would say bow. Probably, like realistically, I would say bow. I mean, honestly, all I want is armor on my gunslinger because I'm selfish and I choose violence. But
I choose violence.
I would say, yeah, it would have to be bow. I don't know necessarily.
Like all the other classes for Hunter get played.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to touch middle tree solar. Like it's solid enough. Like if you really want to use it, I don't like it in PvP personally, but plenty of people do, I guess. I've seen specs. Everyone, everyone and their mother was running specs before
Stasis.
Yeah. They're obviously not touching stasis. Golden gun. Honestly, I love bottom tree golden gun so much. That was my Taken King. Yeah, it was my Taken King subclass after they nerfed Blade Dancer. I was like, well, time to switch. And then trip mines to the face. This is the way. Warlock's difficult because I feel like I could just be like the whole void subtree, like the whole void subclass. Because like I see Nova Bombs, but like you don't normally see Nova Bombs outside of like 6v6.
Well, that's
at least I feel like, right? Like I feel like you don't see a lot of oh god, I forget. Middle tree is chaos or no. Nova Warp. Yeah, like I don't know. I don't see a lot of void blocks.
Yeah, we're nearly extinct. That first like nerf that they did to us, like way back when, that killed off most Nova Warp users.
That whole sub, like I get what they're doing, but I hope they honestly like revisit light entirely. But I mean, the game's getting another Witch Queen's 2022.
Yeah.
Then Lightfall, and then they have another DLC beyond that they haven't named yet.
Yep.
And that's
the way they said it. To wrap it up, how they said it, they said that this is going to conclude the Light and Dark saga. There's going to be more.
We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. Morally gray, like what I don't understand. Like I don't understand. Like how do you get who's like? How do you get higher than
after Light and Dark?
Yeah, I honestly wish. I hope that they're just more like this will end like this saga, but it becomes more like philosophy based, where like it's dark first. Like we talked about it like a couple of weeks ago. I feel like where we were like light and dark guardians, like just like break us into factions almost. You know what I mean? Like obviously for gameplay reasons, we'd have to have access to all of them, but make it a philosophy thing versus actual like oh, you can only use these subclasses, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'll be interesting. We got a lot of stuff. The TWAB was, to round out our episode, TWAB literally had next to nothing. It was just touching on a few things here and there. What stood out to you, Fates?
For the TWAB, oh geez.
For me, it was the buff of the ritual weapon.
The drop rates.
Bottom dollar, and toward the end of the season.
Yeah.
I still feel like something.
You had a really good night.
Somebody flipped a switch this week, because the amount of frozen orbits that I got this week from Iron Banner. I got the fusion rifle last night from Gambit and a bottom dollar, like consecutively. So I've gotten at least like 4 or 5 frozen orbits this week, along with like 3 or 4 of those the sidearm. I still don't know where that scout rifle came from, because it looks like a Vanguard weapon. And I
got a Nature of the Beast drop in Gambit.
I didn't even know there was I didn't even know there was a Vanguard scout rifle up for grabs. Like, it was like, oh, okay.
I don't think that one's Vanguard, because
it's at least colored. It's at least colored that way. And I've gotten the pulse.
Yeah.
I got my pulse rifle came from playing PvP like a week ago.
The Axiom, the third Axiom.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have no clue what the hell's happening with any of this stuff.
Weird, yeah.
You had a really good night last night. That's like the
drop. I got the fusion in a bottom dollar last night, and then frozen orbit. I literally got like 5 this week. None of them were good, but I got 5 of them.
I got in a bottom dollar, which I've dubbed Fatebringer's older brother, no fucks giver. It's Outlaw Dragonfly, and it's fantastic. I literally found the shader that would make it look most like a Vex looking weapon, and put that on there, because it's Fatebringer. Like,
I can't wait till Fatebringer comes back.
Me too.
I feel like they're just like, I don't know if there's something wrong with it, but that would be definitely the thing that stands out. I'm kind of disappointed that that they're waiting so long. But
Chance, what about you? What stood out for you in the TWAB?
Definitely those drop rate buffs, because I'm grinding still for that frozen orbit for the PvE roll, and it would be nice to actually get that.
I had a clown cartridge clip roll.
Clown cartridge kill clip.
I just wanted it because of kill clip, but I was like, this is way too slow to scope in.
Yeah.
I need a handling mask work.
Yeah. I even slapped a couple dex mods on it. I was like, this is like 3,000 years to scope in.
All right. Well, we covered a lot. We're going to be back next week for some more PvP talk. Hopefully we get some more changes to stuff, because it's getting rough out there with the stasis. But that's going to be a fuss for here at 7CR. I'm Tibercat. You can catch me live at twitch.tv/Tibercat or Tibercat on almost any of my socials. Fates, where they're going to find you at?
Fates _pyro pretty much everywhere. Maybe throw a TTV in there for TikTok. Pretty much everywhere. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook page that I haven't touched in a bit, but I intend to kind of bring back here.
And Chance, where are they gonna find you at?
You can find me, Gearshift09, at Gearshift09 on Twitter and Instagram.
All right. We're going to see y'all in the next one.